Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Keystone Virtual College Exploration for all Pennsylvania students. This program is a partnership between the Pennsylvania Association for College Admission Counseling, also known as PACAC, and StriveScan, and we're happy to welcome you today. A few housekeeping tips before I turn it over to our panelists. You may ask questions of the panelists throughout the program in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. Also, your mic and your video will be off and muted for the duration of the presentation. This is a webinar, so again, if you would like to interact with the panelists, please make sure that you enter your questions in the Q&A box. This session will be recorded and available on PACAC's website after the session today. So you can go to www.pacac.org/virtual, and there you'll be able to find the recordings of all sessions for our program. You'll also be able to sign up for additional sessions. Our program lasts 5 weeks from October 1st through November 6th, and we hope that you'll join us. I'll turn it over to our panelists.
Thanks, Liz. Good evening, everyone. My name is Katie Strong, and I'm one of the associate directors here at Quinnipiac University in Hamden, Connecticut. I am also a two-time alum. I graduated from Quinnipiac in 2016 with a degree in marketing, and I also completed my Master of Business Administration in 2018 from Quinnipiac School of Business. I am excited tonight to share with you all that Quinnipiac has to offer, and to help me do that tonight, I am joined by two of our current students who are also Pennsylvania natives. So Adriana, do you want to introduce yourself first?
Hi everyone, my name's Adriana Mancini. I'm from East Norriton, Pennsylvania. I went to Mount St. Joseph High School, so if anyone knows where that is. I'm in the 3+3 physical therapy program, and so this year, currently, I'm starting my first year in grad school, so super excited about that. Thank you guys again for being here.
Thanks, Adriana. And Sophie.
Hi guys, I'm Sophie. I'm currently a junior here at Quinnipiac. I'm an occupational therapy major. I'm from Allentown, Pennsylvania, and I went to Parkland High School, if anybody knows where that is. So it's good to see you guys.
Thanks, Adriana and Sophie. We're super excited to have you both here. And if you do have any questions for either myself or the students, feel free to throw them into the Q&A section. And we'll talk a lot about student life. The first thing that we always like to talk about, though, is kind of who we are and what we offer. So we'll start with a short presentation that we'll go through that will really give you an idea of everything that we have here at Quinnipiac. So first thing we always talk about is our three-campus environment. It makes us unique in that it's all Quinnipiac, and many of our students, including Sophie and Adriana, actually utilize all three during their experience. If you're like me, you'll only utilize two. So when you come to visit us, and I will let you all know that we are open for campus visits with pre-registration required, so definitely come and see us before Thanksgiving break to see what it's like with students on campus. Although it's a little bit different than normal, we're excited and happy to have students taking place and activities still hosted on campus for us. So the campus that you'll come see with us is called Mount Carmel campus, and that's our traditional environment. The best way to describe it is Frisbee throwing on the quad, tons of green grass, and a really fun environment for our students. There's a small state park right across the street called Sleeping Giant State Park. And when I say that, families and students tend to think we're in the middle of nowhere. So I do like to let you know that if you drive one stop sign away, you will find Dunkin' Donuts, pizzerias, delis, very similar to what you all are used to from where most of you are going to be coming from in the state of Pennsylvania. So everything is very, very close by for our students. If you go 5 minutes down the road, you will find Moe's, Chipotle, Panera, a Poke Bowl place, Stop and Shop, Marshall's, again, other restaurants, other shopping. If you go 10 minutes down the road, you'll find a Target and a movie theater. So super accessible to anything that you need, because I know coming from Pennsylvania, it's not a quick hour drive to get to campus, and you're not going to be home all the time. You're going to be staying with us throughout the weekend and really going home for just breaks. So I really find that our students like having things very close by. And if you're looking for a city environment, you'll find the city of New Haven just less than 15 minutes down the road. So if you want restaurants, shopping, museums, theaters, art galleries very close by, you'll find that in New Haven. And it's also very much a college town feel. We have students who are able to interact with Yale University, Southern Connecticut State, Albertus Magnus, and the University of New Haven students. And there's also a train station in New Haven, which will get you Amtrak or Metro North. So for those of you that are closer to areas that are accessible by train, it may help you get back closer to home. And we also see students utilizing it to get throughout Connecticut and into New York City or go to Boston for a weekend, because we're pretty much smack dab in the middle between New York City and Boston. And we're about 35 minutes away from the capital of Connecticut in Hartford. So super accessible outside of campus, but when you're stepping onto campus, it will very much be a suburban feel for our students. Living on our Mount Carmel campus are first and second year students. It also is where the majority of our undergraduate courses take place and is really the center of student life for us. So this is where you'll find our student center, our library, majority of our athletic facilities, and pretty much the hot place on campus is going to be the Starbucks that we added a few years ago, which students really tend to enjoy, that does accept your meal plan. So that's going to be the traditional environment where we'll find all of our students starting their experience with us. About 4 minutes driving up the road, you will find our Yorkhill campus. This is upperclassmen housing, traditionally juniors and seniors. Our People's United Center with our ice hockey and basketball arena, and our acrobatics and tumbling team also competes in our basketball arena. And there's also our Rocky Top Student Center. If you're thinking New England campus environment, this is the epitome of that. Our Rocky Top Student Center looks like a ski lodge. It's all wood on the inside. It has a fireplace with great lounge chairs. And if you walk outside the doors, you'll have Adirondack chairs where you can overlook the Long Island Sound, downtown New Haven, and the state park on the other side. So it's kind of the best view that you're gonna get. And I recommend anyone coming to visit us to definitely check out the Yorkhill campus while they're here to come and see that. For everyone coming to us, especially those living out of state, are gonna be experiencing both the Mount Carmel and Yorkhill campuses for living. Our students do have a 3-year requirement for living, so everyone gets the chance to live on our Yorkhill campus and experience that with us. The Yorkhill campus is simply residential, social, and it's kind of that fun, relaxed environment for our students. There's a sand volleyball court, outdoor basketball courts. So it's really just a nice environment for our students to enjoy, knowing that they don't have any academic classes up there. And any student at any age can go up there. You don't have to be living on that campus. The third campus is our North Haven campus, located in the town of North Haven, which is the next town over. It's going to be about a 10 to 12 minute drive from our other 2 campuses that are located in Hamden. And this is a campus that actually both Adriana and Sophie utilize as a part of their programs. This is what I refer to as the Suits and Scrubs campus. This has our medical school, law school, graduate school of health sciences, our school of nursing, and our graduate school of education. So students in those programs do utilize this campus at some point in their process, but for each student it's different. Sophie's a part of our occupational therapy program. She was heading over there junior year. Adriana is a part of our physical therapy program. She's not taking classes over there until their graduate program. For her, which is a little bit earlier than others, being in a 3+3 accelerated program. And our nursing students also utilize it in their junior year. Physician assistant students won't go until a little bit later. Students in the law program don't use it until they're in their JD program. So it will vary and it gets confusing if you're looking at all the programs at once, but we're always happy to help students, let them know where they need to be and when. There are no residential housing options on the North Haven campus. It's simply academic. So it's definitely a different feel from the Yorkhill campus. For students, this is much more of a study environment. Actually, Adriana is sitting right now in the North Haven campus in a study room, so she can definitely tell you what it's all about there and what that environment is like for us. In terms of who we are as an institution, Quinnipiac is the epitome of a medium-sized school, about 7,000 undergraduate students and 3,000 graduate students. We really find that we have a smaller academic environment. Our average class size is 24 students. Student to faculty ratio is 16:1. And we do not have any teaching assistants or graduate students teaching any of our classes. So you really get the opportunity to get to know your professors. They know your face, they know your name, they know you show up every day. And you get to know those that are in class with you and in your program with you as well. And on the flip side of that, if you're looking for a bigger school feel, you don't want to kind of replicate your high school experience, you do get to have the bigger school feel in that we have 21 Division I athletic programs. And I will let you know that if you don't follow hockey now, you will follow ice hockey when you get to us, because we are pretty darn good in both men's and women's ice hockey. So those are our nationally ranked programs. We see a lot of school spirit driven to those programs. We also have a lot of success in our other Division I athletic programs and offer free student tickets to all of our home games and contests for students to show off their school spirit and their Bobcat Game Day Gold. So we really find that our students are supporting our Division I athletes. We also have 12 club sports that we've had over the past year and a half. And we also offer over 20 intramural options as well for students. Adriana and Sophie can definitely tell you more about what they're involved with and what there is to do on campus. But there are definitely a lot of opportunities outside of athletics for us. We have over 140 student clubs and organizations, and that ranges from anything from cultural and identity groups, community service organizations, academic clubs, student programming. We also have a lot of options for students who want to participate in interest-based clubs as well. So if there's something that you want to do and you can't find it, we are happy to work with students who want to start something new. Since I've graduated, they've started over 30 clubs. So there's definitely a lot of options for students who want to join something that maybe isn't a part of what there currently is. I will also mention that Quinnipiac offers Greek life, but we don't offer housing for them. So they are very philanthropy-based and service-based for us. In terms of our academic programs, we have 6 undergraduate schools across our College of Arts and Sciences, School of Business, Communications, Engineering, Health Sciences, and Nursing. And at the graduate level, we participate in a dual degree program with our School of Education for a 4+1 dual degree program. And then we also have our medical school and law school. On the right-hand side of the screen, you will see what I consider are unique programs that are accelerated dual degrees. So Sophie and Adriana are actually a part of 2 direct admit programs where they know they're going to be spending undergrad and grad with us for quite a few years. So they're part of one of our health science, or a couple of our health science direct admit programs, but we also have other programs in other areas where students are staying with us for both their undergrad and graduate experience. Our unique accelerated dual degree programs are 3+1 offerings in business, communications, biology, theater, radiologic sciences, and we also have added economics. So students actually complete 2 degrees in 4 years, and students do need to meet minimum academic parameters to be invited to these programs, but they are invitation programs through the admissions process. We also offer a 3+2 Master of Social Work degree, where students can complete a social science undergraduate option or a health science studies, and then continue on into our MSW program for their last 2 years. We also offer a 3+3 Bachelor's to JD Law program with our School of Law. So these are all going to be invitation programs where students fitting in any of these areas will be automatically invited. For physical therapy, what Adriana is a part of, we offer a 6 or 7 year direct admit program. Sophie's in our 5.5 year occupational therapy program. And we also offer a 6-year direct admit physician assistant program as well in the health science areas, and a direct admit nursing program in addition to those. One of the major changes that we've seen that you're going to be hearing from a lot of schools about is the application admissions process. And we know that's different for every school. And one of our changes has happened more recently. We've moved away from rolling admission to a more traditional timeline. So students have the option to apply early decision, which is binding, with a deadline of November 1st. We've implemented Early Action 1 and 2 as options for students. Early Action 1 will be a deadline of November 15th, and Early Action 2 will be January 1st, and regular admission will take place with a deadline of February 1st. So students for Early Action 1, 2, or regular admission, non-binding, you just get to hear back a little bit earlier the earlier you apply, which is great. So students applying Early Action 1 will hear back in early to middle of January. Early Action 2, they're going to hear back in February, and regular admission, they will hear back in March. We do encourage those that are looking at our direct admit programs in either physician assistant, physical therapy, occupational therapy, or nursing to submit an application by Early Action 1, November 15th for full consideration for those programs. And the reason for that is they do have a limited number of seats, so we want to be able to evaluate our full applicant pool when we're looking at those. And of course, the other major change that we've seen this year is SAT and ACT changes. So we know that this is a super stressful time for everyone. We want you to know we're living it with you. We're all coming to you from different places where normally we'd be on campus. And we want students to know that maybe you're a senior who's really stressed out with the scores and having standardized testing, or a junior who feels that stress coming on. We have moved to basically being full test optional with the exception of 2 programs. The only programs that we are asking for scores for our fall 2021 applicants is for our direct admit physician assistant and our 3+3 law program. If you don't have scores and you're looking at any of those programs, I don't want you to be turned away from applying to us. We definitely want you to consider us in the process, and I am happy to work with you one-on-one to accommodate looking at those programs, even if you don't have standardized testing in hand right now. We know many of you are waiting on tests. We know many of you have had tests canceled, so we want you to know we get the stress level, and we will happily work with you and figure out the best way to answer your questions and to work along the process. We do allow students to self-report their scores if they do have scores available at the time of admission. And if you don't want scores considered, don't include anything on the application, and we'll assume that you're applying test optional with us. We are a common application school, so that might be the easiest way to apply, or you can use our application. And generally speaking, who we look for in a student is a really well-rounded student. Adriana and Sophie will let you know everything that they're a part of, and we're definitely looking for that well-rounded student. So the student that has a built-out resume with a list of activities, talking about an essay talking about who they are as a person, letters of recommendation that glow about what a great individual you are, also help in our process in addition to your transcripts. And if you have SAT or ACT scores that you're submitting to us, we will take those all into consideration. So generally speaking, most of our programs are looking for a student who has a B to B plus average overall. And SAT or ACT scores, generally speaking, our average has been between about an 1150 to 1200 for most of our programs. That'll obviously change with most of our students not submitting scores this year. For some of our direct admit programs or those accelerated dual degree programs, those 3+1, 3+2, or 3+3 programs that we talk about, those are gonna have a little bit higher academic parameters. And generally we're looking for at least an A- average in many of those programs. If you're looking at programs like Adriana and Sophie have, we're definitely gonna be looking for a strong math and science student to join us in the health sciences or nursing. So we are happy to answer your questions. I will put up my contact information on the screen so you have it. It is also available on our website if you lose it or can't take it down right now. We're more than happy to connect with you throughout the process. I work with students all across Pennsylvania and I'm the one reading the application, so I definitely like to be able to connect with students who have an interest in us. I'm going to stop sharing the screen now so we can get to your questions, so feel free to put them into the Q&A for us. And we'll start out by having Adriana and Sophie share a little bit about what you're involved with on campus and what kind of takes up most of your time. Sophie, I'll start with you.
Hi guys, so I'm involved in Greek life on campus. I'm in a sorority. I would say that definitely outside of class takes up most of my time, but I also make it that way. I think Katie mentioned that we don't have Greek housing on our campus, and so really if you're joining Greek life, if you're looking into that, because we don't have housing, it's really the experience of what you put into it is what you'll get out. So I put a lot of my time and effort into that, so that's why it takes up most of my time. I'm also involved in the Student Occupational Therapy Association, and I get involved with my sorority in all campus events like Q-thon and the big event, which are two of some of our bigger fundraising events on campus. So yeah, like I said, Greek life takes up most of my time, but I made it that way. So if you're looking to get involved in a lot of things, you can certainly still do Greek life and be involved in however many other clubs you'd like.
Thanks, Sophie, and I'll turn it over to you, Adriana.
So some of the things that I was involved in as an undergrad, I was a part of physical therapy club, Bobcats in the Community, which is a really nice service club where you go to nursing facilities, also help out at like an animal shelter, as well as retirement homes, do activities with them. So that was a really nice club that I was involved in, as well as I was involved in Q-thon too, which is a 10-hour dance marathon where we raise money for kids with cancer, specifically at Connecticut Children. So that's what Sophie was mentioning. So that was awesome. And I was part of the Dancer Relations Committee for 2 years, as well as the Morale Committee for the last year. And right now, as a graduate student, I'm just kind of tackling classes, but I hope to get involved in the Graduate Physical Therapy Club. As well as an undergrad, I went to a lot of sports games too. And as Katie was saying, the hockey games is always so fun. As well as I always supported women's soccer too and men's soccer because that was always so exciting. So hopefully we can get back to doing that very soon.
Thank you both. Oftentimes students in this process for college searching, they have so many options, especially in the state of Pennsylvania. So when you were looking at schools, what ultimately made you decide Quinnipiac? And Adriana, I'll start with you.
So truthfully, the physical therapy program definitely brought me here to Quinnipiac. The fact that I could get into a guaranteed program and be able to finish my undergrad in 3 years as opposed to 4 years typically, and just stay at the same school. Truly loved that, as well as visiting the school's absolutely beautiful campus. And specifically on the library, there's this nice bell tower. It's absolutely beautiful because every hour it rings the same tune signifying, hey, like the hour has come. And then at Christmas time, it rings nice little Christmas music. So that definitely drew me as well as the 3 different campuses. I really liked that aspect because I never really experienced that at another school that I had visited. The fact that, you know, you have your starting classes on the main campus, freshmen and sophomores, they live there. And then at Yorkhill, you typically see the juniors and the seniors living up at that second residential campus. And then at North Haven, you have the medical campus, and that's where I am at grad school. So I just thought, oh my goodness, like once you're a junior, like it's a step up. We're at a different campus. And I really liked that aspect of Quinnipiac.
Thanks, Adriana. Sophie, why did you ultimately choose Quinnipiac?
Kind of like Adriana, I had a number of reasons that led me to Quinnipiac. I think probably the biggest reason, I know like when I was a senior in high school and I was looking for college, I was big on, you know, the whole environment that everything brought. I was big on going on tours. And when I walked onto Quinnipiac's campus, it really just had that homey, like welcoming, cozy environment. You know, just being on campus, everything is close together, and I mean, everyone is saying it, it's beautiful. The quad is really great, and all the dorm rooms and everything, they all, just everything, it felt just like home. It felt cozy. In our student center, we have an area and it has a giant tall stone fireplace, and I really love that. I love to go sit there and do my homework, especially in the winter time when the fireplace is on. And that Yorkhill campus too, it really is, it looks exactly like a ski lodge. It's beautiful. That's where I'm living. I'm actually up here in my room right now. So I really loved the campuses. I also loved the North Haven campus. I was also looking for the entry-level program for OT, and specifically the program I was looking for, it's pretty limited in Pennsylvania especially, so I was looking up here, and I really loved the program and how it was you know, all situated at Quinnipiac. And the North Haven campus too, it's a great campus, and it really, like, every time I walk into it, I feel like I'm walking into a real hospital in the health science department. It's really well equipped, state-of-the-art, you know, rooms and everything, so I really loved all of that.
Adriana, you mentioned 3+3. We've talked about it a little bit. Can you just kind of discuss 3+3 versus 4+3 and how you made that decision?
Great. So there's 2 options if you want to go the physical therapy route. So you can either go 4+3, which is the typical, so you complete your undergraduate degree in 4 years, and then your graduate school in 3 years for your doctorate degree. But then there's also an option to do your undergraduate degree in 3 years, as opposed to 4, and then still complete your graduate portion in 3 years. And so typically what that entails in completing your undergrad in 3 years is that typically, depending on how many credits you come in with, either from APs or other colleges that you have taken through with high school too, you have to take a few non-semester classes either in January or in the summertime. And then you also have to take extra credits throughout the semester. You usually have to take 17 credits, and 16 credits are provided in the tuition. So you have to pay an additional. The way I made my decision was that I kind of figured, you know, oh, like I can just get it done in 3 years, knock off a year, no problem. And I kind of liked that aspect and getting out into the workplace much sooner than I typically would. So that way I'm out in the workplace, out, you know, use my hands, everything. typically students who choose to do the 4+3, they either heavily involved in campus or maybe a sorority. They want to stay on there for 4 years just as an undergrad instead of maybe trying as a grad student. Some people didn't come in with as many credits, so they don't really want to double up as much. So they kind of just want to stick with the 4 years. But for me, I had enough credits for me to be a little flexible, just take a few non-semester classes. And again, just out in the workplace, out using my hands just much sooner. So that's why I chose the 3+3 route.
Thanks, Adriana. One thing I will mention is that Quinnipiac is super focused on our experiential learning aspects. Sophie and I were talking earlier today, and she said, I might be in scrubs because I'm coming from my fieldwork. So we definitely want to dive into what they've experienced in the fieldwork and clinical aspects. But I do not throw a lot of facts at you, but I do like to mention that recently we were named the #1 school in the country for the 2nd year in a row by Zippia.com for our placement after graduation, either in graduate school or employment. So over the past 10 years, our average has been over 96%. And I think that's really derived from our students getting experiential learning. For Adriana and Sophie in the health science areas, that's going to be more fieldwork aspect or clinical aspects where they're going out into the field and utilizing their clinical skills. For students in other areas, that can come in the form of research, and we do have opportunities for on-campus research. And one of the things that I think is really important to know about Quinnipiac is that first-year students can get involved with research. So if you know coming in that's something that you want to be a part of, you can absolutely jump in right away. You can find faculty members and find out what they're involved with on campus for research, and they do research in our own labs. Or if there's something that interests you and you want to bring it to your advisor who will help find someone that can help with that process. And our students are presenting at conferences, they're getting published, and they have that ability to do those things as a first-year student. And if you're like me, you're in a more traditional internship program, and that's typically our business, communications, engineering, and some of our arts and sciences programs where they're completing an internship for credit or an internship over the summer. And all of our schools have career development within each of their individual academic schools. So they have staff that are specifically looking for those students and those majors and those opportunities for students. We have career fairs each fall that are university-wide. This year we're actually hosting 2 because they're virtual, and why not have more if you have the opportunity to invite more companies and corporate options to us and meet with our students. And then each of our schools does other options for our students as well. Our School of Business does an etiquette dinner, so you actually learn how to have a meal. If you ever get interviewed over a meal or have to have a meeting, you know what to order, what not to order. A burger is usually not a good option because it's super messy. There's apparently a right way to eat soup as well. Know what fork to use and all of those things. We do resume review workshops. We do mock interviews. We have companies coming onto campus to do sessions, Q&As, panels. Actually, one of my experiences with a very large corporate company that's headquartered in Connecticut, that would be recognizable to every single person in the room, was actually through a session that I attended early on in my junior year, and I ended up working for them after graduation through that experience. And my hiring manager and my manager on the floor was one of the people who had been on campus with us. So that was a great connection to have for our students, and I think that's something to know about us. Sophie, I know you were at fieldwork earlier today, so I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about what your experience has been and how that works in your program.
Yeah, so for occupational therapy, we start doing fieldwork our junior year. So right now in the fall semester, I'm doing what's called service learning. And right now with COVID, most of it is online or virtual or via telehealth. Whereas in a typical semester, you go into a specific setting, but everyone in my class is assigned different projects, I guess. So my assignment for this semester, I'm working with older adults who are aging in place, and we are going in, our professors going into each of their homes and doing a 360-degree camera and getting all the angles of their homes so that we can then go online as students, evaluate and analyze their homes, see if there need to be modifications made so that they are able to age in place, which means that you're choosing to stay at home as you get older instead of possibly moving into a senior living environment. So right now we've been doing that, and then we meet with the clients via Zoom and talk about if they do need modifications. Earlier I was in Scrubs because I was in the human anatomy lab, and that's also a really great experience that most health science and medical school students will utilize at some point throughout their time here.
Thanks, Sophie. I know, Adriana, you have yet to go to your clinical experiences yet. Can you talk a little bit about the facilities at the North Haven campus, the hands-on experience that you're getting before you go out into the field?
Yes, so this first grad year is kind of essentially just all informative. Basically, we do have a few integrated clinical experiences that occur a few times per semester, kind of just get our mind going to, practice what we're learning. But yes, so right now, all of our lectures are online, but all of our labs are in person. So currently I'm in a PT process lab. And so essentially we're learning about, vital signs. We just started whipping out the goniometer. We're going to start measuring the joints range of motion. So that's super exciting. As Sophie was saying, we're also in the cadaver lab for human anatomy. And just a few days ago, we started looking at the brachial plexus in the arm. And so that was absolutely amazing and extremely blessed to have the opportunity to be in the labs this semester, especially with the times, as well as to have these donors that graciously have given, their bodies to the school so that we can learn from them. So that is very nice. As well as I'm in kinesiology lab too. And so we have a lot of bone models in there as well. And so just today we were kind of learning about the scapula and the shoulders motion and getting the skeleton out and everything like that. So super blessed to have some hands-on experience and to be actually visualizing and physically seeing what we're learning about in class.
Thanks, Adriana. You taught us a lot of new terms tonight, so I appreciate that. Sophie, can you talk a little bit about, we've talked a lot about academic curriculum, what that looks like, but for students who need a little bit of extra support, can you talk a little bit about how professors have supported you in your program and maybe some of the resources students can utilize outside the classroom to get academic help?
Yeah, so I'm really lucky, and I think this really goes for across the board with every school and every major, but I have a really great academic advisor that I've been assigned to. All of our students have an academic advisor, regardless of what major or what school you're in, and they're really your go-to person when it comes to scheduling classes and registration. If you do need academic help, they can certainly point you in the right direction. They're all faculty members of the school or the major that you're involved in, so they're also teaching the courses that you're probably taking as well. I personally love my advisor. I think she's the best. I go to her with everything, like I said, scheduling and registration stuff, but I also feel totally comfortable going to her with any kind of personal issues I may need to talk about. So definitely an academic advisor is a really great resource to have. And we also have the Learning Commons here on campus. So in our library, both on the Mount Carmel campus and on the North Haven campus, for our graduate students, we have the Learning Commons. Like I said, it's essentially our peer tutoring center, but it's really a place that all students are encouraged to go to reach a certain level of academic excellence that you may feel you can't reach on your own. So whether that means you may be like failing a course and you need a lot of help and one-on-one tutoring sessions, or whether you're just, maybe you're a little nervous about taking exams. If you want to go to a group workshop or a group study session, they have all kinds of stuff, like I said, ranging from one-on-one tutoring to group sessions, and they're a really great resource. I've gone to a couple of their sessions and they've helped me a lot, and I know a lot of people who use them for one-on-one tutoring as well.
Thanks. So I'll also add in for students who may need accommodations, whether they're academic, physical, or otherwise. The other piece of our Learning Commons is our Office of Accessibility that will work one-on-one with students. In our Learning Commons, we have what we call peer fellows who work to host those group study sessions, as Sophie talks about. So for our larger classes like Biology 101 or Finance 201, which is really the entry-level finance class, even though it has a 2 in front of it, and some of our other larger classes like calculus, where a lot of our students are taking those, We will have peer fellows that host outside study sessions. And then we have peer catalysts who are going into our seminar-based classes, primarily English courses, first-year seminar courses, and they're there to help facilitate discussions that are happening in those courses. So we don't have teaching assistants, we don't have graduate assistants, but we do have a lot of support along the way. And all of our staff members, professors, and faculty are required to hold office hours outside of their class times for students. So they're super accessible. So you have them as a resource. And then as Sophie mentioned, all of our students have academic advisors. In addition to kind of that academic support, your advisor will also help with registration for courses to make sure we're taking the right classes that we need in the right order. For students who want to add in a minor, you can have help with that. Students who want to double major, we can absolutely do that as well. And we also have a liberal arts core curriculum. So our students are taking humanities, social sciences, fine arts, science, English in a first-year seminar with us regardless of their program, but you do get a lot of flexibility and choice when you're choosing your humanities, fine arts, and social science courses. So students oftentimes are picking up a minor in those areas. A lot of Adriana's classmates will have a psychology minor in the PT program. OT, a lot of students do as well, but there are a lot of options to mix and match. Business communication students and arts and sciences students have the ability to pick up a minor in any of those programs. There's that open flexibility already for them. Adriana and Sophie might just have to work a little bit harder to get that flexibility, potentially coming in with credits from either AP, IB, or dual enrollment courses, which we do accept credits from. So we've talked a lot about academics, courses, what that looks like. I want to talk about the fun stuff for a few minutes. Sophie, you mentioned you're sitting right now in our Yorkhill campus in your residence hall. Can you talk a little bit about kind of what the Yorkhill campus is like for resident experience and where you're living?
Yeah, I really love Yorkhill. This is my first time living up here. Like we said earlier, it's for mainly juniors and seniors, so I'm a junior. That's my first time up here. But I really love it. I think it's an awesome environment. It's really calming because there's no academic stuff going on up here. It's kind of just everybody, we're all chilled out, and I love to go sit in the student center up here and grab a bite to eat. Like we said, it looks exactly like a ski lodge. It's really beautiful. It has a great view. It's all windows on the front side, so I'll sit there and eat and be able to look at over like everything you can see for miles. It's really beautiful. I also love up here, we have a little sitting area outdoors where we have some like wind turbines, but it's a really great place to watch the sunset or the sunrise if you're into getting up early. So I've done that a couple of times, and it's really beautiful to see that. But yeah, like I said, it's really just a really chill environment. Everyone up here is just relaxed. Like I said, no classes, so we're all just kind of hanging out. I also love to go to some of the workout classes in our student center up here. We have a spin room and as well as a weight room. I go to spin classes a lot, so it's something my friends and I do together, which is really nice. But yeah, I really love the environment up here. I'm living in Crescent right now, which is our residential hall that is, the rooms have a kitchen, a small common area, 2 private bathrooms, and then 3 bedrooms for 6 people, so 3 double bedrooms. And we have private bathrooms, like I mentioned, which is really nice. Not that there's a problem with communal bathrooms. I actually didn't have any problem with that at all freshman year, but the private bathroom is really nice. And the kitchen is also a great plus.
Thanks, Sophia. I will mention all of our students living at the Yorkhill campus do have kitchens within their rooms. But if you walk right across the street in the Rocky Top Student Center, you will find a full-service dining hall as well. So when Sophie doesn't feel like cooking, it's super easy to walk right across and use the meal plan at the Student Center in their dining hall. I'll talk briefly a little bit about what our first-year resident experience is like for students. First-year students live in either doubles, quads, or suites. So it's either 2, 4, and then 6 or 8 total people. Adriana, I think you lived in a quad your first year, correct? All right, so you and I both have experience living in a quad and getting to know 3 people right away, which was a great experience, having 3 new friends first day. Students can select one roommate that they want to live with. If they know someone coming in, they meet someone at orientation or at a mid-student experience or anything like that, they can choose someone to live with. I went totally random, so it works out okay. And then starting our sophomore year, we do have access to suite style living, and that's mostly 6 or 8 total people. As Sophie mentioned when she moved up to Yorkhill, also suite style living. There are 8 living learning communities currently for first year students, which are either interest-based or program-based communities for students with like-minded individuals. They can live together and opt into that option. So for example, we have honors, we have nursing, we have 3+1 business, 3+1 communications, but also interest-based ones like Live Well and our global living learning community as well. And then in the sophomore year, we continue on into having an honors living learning community in addition to those. So as we mentioned earlier, first and second year students typically living on the Mount Carmel campus, and then juniors and seniors get to join Sophie up on the Yorkhill campus and have that residential experience. We do have shuttles that run to all 3 campuses, so it is super accessible outside of getting around and not needing a car, because I know coming from out of state, not everyone's gonna have a car right away for that. We will kind of wrap up with Adriana. You get to say your quick spiel about your favorite place on campus.
My favorite place on campus is called the Student Piazza, and it's actually where Sophie was describing, where the fireplace is. And it has such beautiful big windows that reflect out, looking at the library with that bell tower I was talking about, as well as the Sleeping Giant, which is the mountain that's right behind our campus that a lot of Quinnipiac students like to go hike. If you go up one trail, you actually see the main campus all the way up above, so absolutely beautiful. But it's the perfect place to kind of just get some work done, you know, not too quiet like the library, but not too hectic like the upper cafeteria, as well as nice seating arrangements. And then up on the second floor is a Starbucks, so you can crank out some work, see some friends, as well as enjoy some nice Starbucks. So that has been my favorite place ever since last year.
Soph, and I think you mentioned Piazza was your favorite place earlier, so I'm going to take that as that was your answer as well. So if you come and see us, we are showing our Piazza, and you'll be able to see it on a campus tour. So if you want to come and see us, pre-register and make the trip up, as long as Pennsylvania remains a green state for us to be able to come and visit. We are hosting additional academic information sessions this fall and virtual open houses to learn more about our programs. And I'm available to answer any of your questions. My email is very easily accessible online, and we are happy to help throughout this stressful application process for those of you that are seniors. And for those that are juniors just beginning this process, we hope that you'll come and see, as Sophie and Adriana described, the beautiful campus, so that hopefully you can also experience what it's like to be cozy and homey, as they use in their words, to be able to visit campus. And we hope that you'll take advantage of attending other information sessions through PACAC's Keystone Virtual College Exploration Program as well that are taking place. And we look forward to seeing you in the future, hopefully on campus or virtually again soon.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this evening for this session in the PACAC Keystone Virtual College Exploration. The recording from this session will be posted to our website at www.pacac.org/virtual. You can also go there to sign up for additional sessions, and there will be a brief 4-question survey at the conclusion of this session. So we thank you for your time, and we hope that you have a great evening.